right, so welcome to Two Balls at a Mic. Today we have the Director of Communications for the SD Loyal Supporter Group, the Locals. We actually met Jerry a couple times at games, and he's an awesome guy. So let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Jerry Jimenez. How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys for having me on. Yeah, just excited to be here and talk some and a little bit about locals too.
Definitely, man. What are you sipping on, by the way? Like I always see you just having a great selection, always on tap, and just something always really good and local most of the time.
I do what I can. Yeah, you got to support local. Right now I'm actually drinking a Wild Barrel Weiss Passion Cactus Dragon Fruit, sour Berliner Weiss style. So it's a mouthful, but really good. It's very good.
That sounds
Wild
really
Barrel
good.
has some good stuff. I don't know if you guys have hit them up. They're in San Marcos. Everything up north has a brewery. I swear every town has like 20 at least. So, but no, it's good stuff. San Diego, we're spoiled down here. You guys know.
Definitely, and we're also spoiled with a great team, SD Loyal,
Yeah.
and we were just talking a little bit before about the preparations that you guys have put into maybe just the starting of back in social media. You want to tell us a little bit the efforts that have been going on since the USL announced that they're coming back?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we never really stopped having conversations. We have always been working kind of in the background. We haven't been very active on social media, so I went on and did a quick live, and we're going to be doing those weekly. We haven't done one this week, but I'm working on getting, hopefully, I don't know when this will be on, but it's going to be, a weekly thing. So join us on Instagram, on the Locals SG, at the Locals SG, and so kind of to keep you guys updated. But we just really been very active on social media. You guys can go back and see, like, we really haven't been posting too much. On Twitter, we haven't been posting too much, but we've been doing a lot of work. So don't let the lack of posts on social media fool you. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, and getting ready. And yeah, and now since we have that announcement of the USL returning, we're in talks right now about what we want to do, what the process is going to be, whether we want to have events, whether we want to just join up with events that the Loyal puts together, what's best for our members, what's best for the SG, and then what's best for the club. So all those conversations are being had, and I don't really have much to talk about on that end as far as, dates for these events or anything like that. But stay tuned. All that is coming. It's coming down the pipeline. It's just a matter of, hashing out a couple of details. But there's just a ton of work, man. There's a ton of work that goes into building a supporter group and maintaining a supporter group, and communication between everybody. We want to make sure that everybody is on board and that understands the decisions that are being made are for the betterment of everybody. So I'm excited though, man. I mean, we have a date. It's been, we were kind of left with a taste of what this could be. Like one game, you guys were there. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It was a blast. I know you guys talk a lot about that one game because what else do we have to talk about right now? So
Yeah,
I'm excited to be able to build some more stuff to talk about for sure.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah, go for it.
I'm curious to know, like, how did it all start with the locals? Like, when did it start, or as soon as you guys heard about the team, how did it all start?
Great question, man. So I came on board after a couple of guys were already kind of building what this would eventually become. For the locals, I say the locals, but it was just a supporter group. So it was two guys that wanted to put a supporter group, and they were basically like, we're going to spearhead this. Nobody else wants to step up and do the work. We're going to do it. And then they eventually brought myself and Drew. So it was Steve and Daryl. Daryl Biggs and Steve Brokoff, who is now the president. Those two guys started kind of trying to figure out what this supporter group was going to be like and building everything from the foundation. And then they brought me on board after they heard about me, because I helped a little bit with what is the 3252 in Los Angeles. So I have a little bit of supporter group background and knowledge. So they brought me on board, and then they brought Drew, who was also heavily involved from the beginning with the club. But basically these two guys were, two guys that already knew San Diego soccer community, that were already involved heavily in it. Daryl with the Soccers and Steve with, and so these guys were kind of the foundation, and they started it. And then again, the two of us came on board, and I brought a 16-page booklet of what this could look like, which we call the bylaws now, and we build it from there. So it really was before the club had a name, before the club had anything. They were just kind of an idea. That's pretty much around the same that the supporter group started. We just knew we really wanted to get involved because as supporters, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but supporters are not directly connected with the club.
Yeah.
But we have kind of a voice within the club, and so we want to make sure that whatever decisions the club is making is also reflecting on what our values are as supporters and as a community of San Diego. Because the club, at the end of the day, they are a business, and we want to make sure that we kind of hold them to all of their promises that they've been making, basically, right? That's kind of our duty, and they love that. And so we've built a really good kind of relationship with them. But it's a lot of work, man. We finally have some leadership. You saw how big we are and how fast that happened. I mean, the sky's the limit in San Diego. It's such a beautiful community. So, yeah, man, I'm just excited to be a part of it. And so, I know it's a long-winded answer, but I'll stop with this. If you really want to know how and see how the supporter group started, our good friend John Cross, who does soccer shorts, is also doing a documentary of the locals. He's been following us since the day that I met these three guys, and I brought the 16-page bylaws with me at a brewery called Thunderhawk, and he was there since even before then. So if you guys want to see that, go and check out Soccer Shorts. They're on Patreon. I don't get any benefits from that, by the way. I'm just putting it out there because it's really good. He started putting out some samplers out there. Get to see the entire process of what building this has been like. It's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. So shout out to Mr. Cross, who's just killing it over with Soccer Shorts. Have you guys checked that out before?
Yeah, we actually follow each other on social media, and yeah, he has a lot of good content. And I heard you talking about a little bit about that in the live, and honestly, that's what this club is all about, man. And it's so awesome to not only have a supporters group, but have a club that has that door open for supporters to to have that voice there. Because a lot of clubs, like you said, it's just a business, and that's it. But you have to have that aspect if we ever have a dream and an aspiration of maybe having this team go up in the MLS or whatever, put San Diego on the map. Obviously we still have 1904 in the NISA League, but something about the Loyal felt different. And maybe it's just maybe the backing of Landon or something else. But even beyond that, I feel like San Diego really responded to this project. How many supporters are we at right now for the locals?
Oh, that is a great question. I think official members,
Un más o
like
menos.
paid, más o menos. So paid members, we're well over 400 right now.
Wow, that is insane.
That's a great number.
I don't know if you've heard about this. I did talk to Drew about this a little bit and a couple of the members. I called dibs on member 619.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I don't know who and what we have to. I call dibs. Like I'll put the money and just save it there and wait for 618, and then boom, we'll activate it.
Okay, sounds good. I'll keep an eye out on that for you.
Definitely.
I mean, we're hoping. I mean, as soon as we get back in, I feel like those numbers are gonna get higher and higher and bigger and hopefully 619 you'll get to be that member usually.
Yeah, I like that number. Rey Mysterio's signature finishing move 619. But as far as the locals, we do a lot because it was the only one game. Talk about that one home game that we had. We'll go and revisit that a little bit. But let's talk about.
We do too, by the way. We do too.
Let's talk about the other San Diego Loyal game. The last San Diego Loyal game. The last game in North America, I think. Live games in North America. Where did you watch?
Is that official?
It's one of the. I'm not sure, but where were you for that game? Or where did you watch that game?
I was actually at home. I didn't get to go to. They had a viewing party for that, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get to make it out to that. I was home with the family. I was watching it on my TV in my living room and going crazy.
I mean, did you think like, I mean, that's when things started turning. I actually went down to Stone and to one of the viewing parties and was talking with Warren and a couple of people there, and you can feel like things might be happening, like we never
Yeah.
know about what's going to happen tomorrow, and boom, it's ended up being the last game. But I mean, we're top of the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
So
yeah.
tomorrow is going to be, now I'm looking at it, cheating a little bit, but tomorrow is going to be officially 3 months and 6 days, 3 months and 6 days
Wow,
since that game.
wow.
That was Wednesday, March 11th against Tacoma Defiance, right? I don't know, that entire time, I think it already felt like we were already having conversations within the supporters group where we're like, something is up.
Hmm.
This doesn't feel right. Something's happening in the world, and it's probably going to affect us. We're kind of already starting to feel it. So yeah, it was a bittersweet game for sure. And then I don't think it was uh as bitter as it was sweet until well after that, right? When we, like you said, realized it was going to be one of the last games or the last game
Yeah.
for Loyal and for a long time. I mean, keep in mind that we had been given like, this is your start date as a supporter group. This is, we need to have all of these things in place for game day. We have to be ready for all of this. We have to be creating events around games that are not at home, and all sorts of things were happening. So our minds were just on go ahead, start. This is great. Top of the league, by the way, still top of the league.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where all of a sudden, just everything came crashing down on us. Everything was put on hold. Everything that we had invested into for the rest of the season was just cut short. And it wasn't just us. It was obviously all other supporter groups around the league, all clubs around the league. So it was devastating for sure, man. And I think that's why honestly, I personally took a step back and was just completely, I separated myself from everything that was going on. There was a lot of things that Loyal has been doing. Obviously, you guys are doing a fantastic job too of kind of keeping the ball rolling and keeping people involved and enthusiastic about this project,
Mhm.
and all other projects around San Diego, and just keeping the ball rolling. You guys are doing the best that you possibly can. The shout out to Fairweather Pod, who's been doing a great job as well. But it's just, I decided personally I need to take a step back. I need to concentrate. You know what's funny? Personal story.
Mhm.
I actually quit my job literally the week that everything went down and put in my 2 weeks notice. So when I started a new job, I didn't know if I had that new job. I had to be
Oh
texting my new
man.
boss like, hey, uh, I don't know. You see what's happening in the world. Like, you still need me, right? Can I come in still on Monday and like do my paperwork? He's like, oh yeah, no, we're still working. And luckily, my job, I'm a service and repair plumber, and I have been for 17 years, and so we are considered essential. So I've been working right through this, but
Mhm.
I decided to concentrate on that, and so I took a big step away. So thanks to podcasts like you guys and everything that is being put out, I kind of still kept track a little bit. But since then, man, it's just been like, I just don't want to even hear it because it's not here. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It was definitely hard. I don't think I've actually ever said that out loud. It was a pretty tough time.
No, definitely. And personally, I thank you for that, because we can say, thank you for the grocery workers and the health people and everybody in the front lines. Thank you to them. But it's like people like plumbers, who people don't really think about in that sense. And actually, it's because I have a really good friend of the podcast, Fabian, who is a plumber himself, and I know you're a plumber, so I asked him, hey, give me a plumber question. Like, what's something that I can ask to somebody who's had experience? So I'm just gonna read this verbatim. He says, ask him this. Every plumber has a nightmare story. Give a quick one off the top of your head. Or if you want a specific, ask, what is your favorite brand of soldering flux? I have no idea what that is.
Everflux for that second one.
And
But But
There you go.
the first
Free
one,
sponsor.
yeah, no, that's always been my favorite. So it's a white container with a blue top, in case you guys ever need a solder. Everflux is the best. Water soluble flux. Anyways, for the first one, that's a great question. The one that comes to mind right away, there's a few, but I think the one that I kind of always go back to is I was starting off as a service plumber, and we got an emergency call. As plumbers, we're on call 24/7.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's a week at a time. Sometimes it's 2 days a month. Sometimes it just depends on what company you're working for. So at this time I was just starting out, so I did have experience. I was in my own truck at that point, but I got a call that there was a 24 unit building. So 24 different apartments, 24 different families that were in trouble because they were backing up. And
Mhm.
so their main sewer line going out to the street, uh, don't know what happened. I don't remember if it was just something wrong with the line or they just put too much toilet paper down it. I don't know, but it was just completely clogged and it was starting to get into the bottom units. So without getting too graphic, I basically had to go in. I found the clean out, opened it up, and it's just sewage, just everything you could possibly think of coming out in the front of the street. And
Oh
then I had
man.
to go in and actually snake it to be able to clear it, to give people back their houses without flooding everything.
Mhm.
And people weren't listening that I was trying to help them out, and so people just kept using the bathroom, using the
Oh
bathroom.
my
So there's
God.
24 different units of people constantly
Man.
using their bathroom and water and flushing the toilet and flushing the toilet. And this, I'm not even joking. It was, I think, like 1 o'clock in the morning when I was out there doing this. And so I'm tired. I'm half asleep. And the snake got stuck and
Oh.
it tangled on my arm and it twisted my arm up. And these snakes, if you guys aren't too familiar with them, they're pretty thick. They're not what you would normally get like at a Home Depot where it's like a little thin cable thing.
Big old
Uh,
rooter scooter, right?
it's
The
a
rooter.
big old router
Oh man.
line that's about 3/4 of an inch. Um,
Damn.
and and my arm was messed up. I finally managed to get it, but things like that, it hurt pretty hard on the body and on the brain. But I was able to get everybody back in service, and everything was happy ending. But that definitely still, I think about it. I'm like, gosh, I'm just not gonna pick up my phone if I ever get a call like that
Damn.
again. No, I'm just kidding.
No, yeah. I
I'll
mean,
go, but that
that,
was tough.
definitely. That's crazy. Like people don't really hear these things. Like they
Right.
think of plumbers and certain professions and they don't think too highly of them. No, 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 no. Plumbers are some of the smartest people that I know. I know a couple plumbers. They're just so practical with how they use things. I saw you actually fix a dinosaur egg that was stuck in one of your
Yeah.
pipes, and just going in there with the camera it was really interesting. But it's everyday people like this, man, and you're doing great things in the community by bringing it together here in San Diego, and it's everyday people like you, man, who are really the foundation of this team and this community, man. I know you
Thank you,
were,
man.
yeah, you were asking about. Uh, I mean, you're all San Diego, right? Maybe LAFC. Could you help a little bit over there?
Yeah, I support LAFC. I have a podcast that I've been doing over for LAFC for about 3 years.
Mhm.
I was actually, for a little while, I was a communications director for the 3252 as well. And I was one of two people that created the 3252 crest. And so, yeah, I'm kind of embedded in Los Angeles because we didn't have anything here in San Diego. And that was a question, there's a question that came up a lot when I joined with the locals was, where have you been? Like we've needed your kind of knowledge when it comes to supporter culture for a long time. Like, where have you been? And it's literally my answer is I was in Los Angeles learning everything so that I can bring it over here, kind of thing. And I know that the people in Los Angeles probably don't want to hear that because I learned a lot and I respect those guys tremendously. But what I'm bringing back with me is really just invaluable knowledge of what supporter groups should look like and could look like. And I say should because uh, it's not one specific thing. How it should look to me is everybody pitching in their ideas and adding to the joint voice on game day, right? So it's not just one person making decisions; it's the entire community. And so that's kind of what I want to make sure that happens here, and that's why I'm getting so involved now with the locals and with Loyal, just to make sure that I'm proud and I can bring my family and my children, my boys, to a game, and they can just walk into a culture that is built in to this, and you have to build that culture. And so, yeah, man. No, you can see. I don't know if you're listening to this podcast on audio only, you can't actually see it. But if you are watching and you can see me, I don't know if they can see me, but there's
Yeah.
a few LAFC things behind me, and that's what it is. I have just a whole bunch of members I have from from back when I was really involved. But I did take a step away from that as well, a little bit. I was still doing that podcast, but also trying to kind of build everything over here. So.
Were you ever like interested in maybe joining like a support group in the Mexican League, maybe with Cholos, or well, I don't know if you have a favorite team in the Mexican League actually.
Chivas, Guadalajara.
Oh, perfect.
I actually grew up I grew up a Chivas fan. My entire family is Chivas Guadalajara. My family's actually from Zacatecas,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody rooted for Necaxa. We were kind of all Guadalajara fans, and we've gone through a few championships now. So one with my boy, actually, a few years ago, if you remember. So, yeah, man, I actually supported Chivas USA when Chivas USA was here. That's how I kind of got involved with LAFC, to be honest, because I was a season ticket holder for Chivas USA, the most terrible MLS team ever.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace. But yeah, I supported culture in Mexico. It just wasn't my thing. Those guys are hardcore. But it's actually obviously being a part of you can be a part of like Legion, I guess, which is the Chivas. For me, I don't know. MLS was. I wanted to be a part of the growth of the sport in the U.S. And so I wanted to just concentrate on one league. I'll still watch Liga MX. I'll still watch. I'll watch Bundesliga. I'll watch EPL. I'll watch all of those teams. By the way, glory, Man United. Sorry, Chelsea over there, but
yes, my guy.
All right, Jerry. Thank you for joining us. I mean,
no, but it's totally different. You guys know that, right? It's like a totally different vibe.
So, my bad. I just.
Oh no, I mean,
I got lots of questions.
I'll go for it.
No, so obviously with the whole coronavirus, how difficult is it to keep like all the supporters motivated to kind of stay in the support group? Because I figure maybe some people are like, well, the league's over, maybe I'm not going to be as involved as I wanted to. So how do you keep them motivated or like still interested in the Loyal?
Great question, and we have not been doing a very good job, if I'm being completely honest. I think that the biggest way to do it is by keeping them engaged and giving them things to grab onto that's keeping them involved, informed. I think the club has been doing a great job, and like I said earlier, I think podcasts like you guys help out a lot. I think us as a supporter group could be doing a lot more, but there was a lot of us. Here's the thing too: is supporter group is led by, like, the leadership is all people that are volunteering their time, right? And so when this whole thing went down, it was really difficult for a lot of us. Some of us went into like crazy overtime hours at work. Some of us just needed a break. And so when this all happened, we kind of just wanted to take care of our families. And so keeping everybody involved and really like you said, just wanting to continue to be a part of the supporter group, it's been difficult. It's been really tough. And it's not something that you can like go face to face and be like, hey, we're still here. It's not that easy. And so we have been having some actually somewhat like this meetings over the internet, online conferences with the club, with people in the club. If you're a member of the locals, then you actually would have gotten an invite and you can join in. And it was basically Thursday afternoons. You join in with Warren was there once. We had Landon. We had a couple of players. We had Salciso join us. And so they've been kind of keeping us informed as the supporter group. Like, this is what we're doing to make sure that, we get back this year and we can play. And so they've kind of kept us informed in that way. I think that's one thing that we've done is we've been able to give access to people and to these conferences, to these online conferences. Um, Things like that. I mean, we're trying the best that we can, and we're trying to just keep active. If anybody answers or asks us questions, we answer as fast as we can. That sort of a thing. Another thing is there's a lot I've been asking about, like their membership stuff. If you haven't been able to pick it up, or if we still owe you stuff, make sure that you are keeping us, in the loop of that. If you haven't gotten an email, you should have already. We're starting to ship out to those people. So again, that's another way. Okay, we're still selling stuff. We're still shipping out stuff, or just started shipping out stuff, I should say. So you get your scarves.
And everybody's, I mean, going to be excited. Hopefully, when they do get their stuff, we have our scarf right here, showing the support for you guys, and a couple of stickers. Actually, got one on there. We got one got somewhere on here on the water bottles. Like, it's all love. But one person that, as my dad would say, le está echando todos los productos de gallina, o sea, huevos. Travis at Punk Rock Paint, man. This
Dude,
okay.
Yes. Let's talk about Travis, my favorite guy.
Other than the Chivas one, which has been your favorite of his loyalized team logos? Because they have been amazing.
They have.
Oh my gosh, man. I can't even pick a favorite. Honestly, all of them, man. He just completely killed it. So Travis, we are so lucky to have somebody like Travis in our ranks. He's just so talented, man. He is just. There is some stuff, by the way, that he has done that you guys haven't seen yet that you'll eventually see. But I'm just like, it's in my phone right now, and I'm just like, I want to post all of this stuff. He has made a lot of things that you guys haven't seen yet. And so just a little bit of a teaser. Expect a lot of local memes. Like, there is some really good stuff. But let me see. Man.
I mean, exclusive.
An exclusive
we're totally down to break exclusives here.
I'll text you guys something so you guys can see it. But man, dude, the Cholos one was so good. But all of them are so good. I mean, I feel like he just killed it.
Like the minimalist ones, the Bayern one.
I love the Liverpool one.
The Bayern one was great. The Liverpool one was busy and perfect.
The one, the thing that I just said, "You'll never bark alone," that killed me. That killed me. That did it for me. I was like, "Wow, this is it."
Yeah. No, he's something else, man. That guy is super talented, but I don't have a favorite. Honestly, everything that Travis does is always just golden.
And from the beginning that we first started, like, oh wow, that's really good, and then he did another one. It's like, wow, that's really good, and he just started just like, just oh my god, like slow down, like you have all the time in the world, but slow down.
Dude, every single Premier League team.
Like, I can't even draw a straight line to imagine to having to loyalize so many different crests and logos and do such a great job at it, man. Like, again, we've shouted him out a couple times in the podcast. Shout out again, Travis at Punk Rock Paint. Check out all the stuff. It is just phenomenal, man.
Yeah. Hey, if we made like a sticker set of all of the EPL teams logos that he made, do you guys think that we could sell those?
Oh, I'd buy some for sure.
Definitely. I know Tom Phillips kind of reached out and saying, hey, this might be happening. I'm like, oh, that'd be awesome. Like, bro, we're all about stickers.
Yeah, we're in talks right now. We're trying to figure some stuff out, but I think we might do something nice for maybe a foundation, a nonprofit or something, where we can maybe bring in some funds through making some stickers. Honestly, I just want stickers. I just want to post this all over San Diego, they're just so good. He just did such a good job. And so, yeah, stay tuned. Maybe something is in the works.
Definitely. And then we got your stickers on the way whenever you want them, man. The new
Oh, yeah,
logo.
I know. I need a hat. I need one of your guys' hats.
Oh, definitely. We
I
still got
reached
the first
out,
batch.
but
It's coming up.
I'm busy, man.
It's
Ah,
coming up
nice.
next week. I'll say one for you, man. I'll hit you up. Um,
Okay.
but there are so many, different facets and different, people who are trying to get in on this loyal thing. And as a supporter group, I know I was there for, I don't even remember what it was. Might have been a preseason game. I think the last preseason game that was away at Stone. And then you guys were approached by Los Chavos del Loyal, which again, fantastic name. But how are you guys handling that? I know with different supporter groups coming together, all for the same cause, but how are you guys maneuvering different, I guess, factions coming into it?
Yeah, again, I go back to I was a part of what the 3252 is, and that is a supporters union. What that means is that there's different supporters groups that form what the 3252 is. There's Black Army 18 Lucky Boys, there is Expo Originals, there is District 9 Ultras, there is Cuervos. These are all different supporter groups, 50 plus members, hundreds of members per group that together on game day, they come together in the stands in the north in LA and form what is a 3252. A lot of people don't know this, but the Timbers Army works the exact same way. Timbers Army has a lot of different groups that come together on game day, and they are also known as the Timbers Army on game day. But when they are apart, they're actually a bunch of different groups. So we are working on making sure that whatever happens on game day is a joint force. We are still working out the details as far as how that's going to work because we want the input from Chavos de Loyo, which, by the way, is the coolest name, and
Yes.
their crest and their logo is beautiful.
Yeah.
The same thing for Barrio 619, which, by the way, Barrio 619, you ain't fooling me. That crest looks a lot like something I've seen before that I helped create, but I'm just going to throw that out there if you're listening. No, but I'm going to talk to these guys soon, and we're working out those details as far as how to bring them in and make sure that they feel like they have a voice and to make sure that they understand that it's not all about the local supporter group. At the end of the day, the locals are kind of set up to be a union, but we are kind of figuring the details out as far as how that's going to work on game day, how if another group pops up, if it's not just Barrio or Chavos, and if it's another group that comes in, or any other group that wants to come in, we want to make sure that people understand that they can do that and that it's not just like you can't sit with this type of feel. Like this is for everybody. We're not
Yeah.
exclusive or anything like that. We're inclusive. That's our whole thing. So how are we handling it? We are making sure that they understand that they have a voice, and we want to make sure that we all together decide on what game day is going to look like together. So yeah, I mean, details are still being worked out. We're such a young groups club that that's one of the advantages that we have is we get to build this together from the ground up, right? So that's the cool part.
It seems like honestly, like two things. Like it was just yesterday that the last game happened. It also feels
See,
like it was forever ago. On top of that, it feels like Estilo has been around for years with the amount of work that's been done behind the scenes for the actual team itself,
Yep.
the work you guys have put in as a supporter group, as the locals, and then the amount of people that showed up and just everything coming together. It feels like it hasn't just been one official game here at home and one away game. It feels like so much more has already been put into it.
oh yeah, no, it's oh man, if you guys, I mean, you can imagine, I'm sure, but if you guys only actually knew how much work has been done from the club end, I was one of those guys that was just I would, kind of walk my own beat my own drum and tell them like 2021 is when we really need to start as a club. 2021 because we need some time to be able to make sure that the foundation is set in such a way where that foundation is never going to fail and we're never going to fall. We need to build this club on a really strong foundation, and we weren't given a lot of time to build that foundation, and so we're still kind of like put something together real quick, and it's working out. Luckily, I think that because of everything that we've already gone through in San Diego with Soccer City and everything before then to try to build something as far as was already kind of a foundation set, and so we're building on top of that and building on top of that. But the way that everything has happened, it's kind of feels a little rushed, and so I think that's why you feel that it's the club has probably it feels like it's been around for a long, long time, which is absolutely not the case.
Yeah.
And if you really, it was not even four or five any players in our team. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. 4 or 5 months without any players in the team.
Mhm.
That is insane. And to have,
Yeah.
again, it's a testament to the amount of work, the amount of not only talent, but the amount of players that they've managed to wrangle up for the beginning of the season. And,
And for
again,
the amount of time they've been playing together.
see you.
Yeah, so here's the thing, and I don't say that like, oh, we didn't have any players. They've been working their butts off.
Yeah.
So both Carrie Taylor, shout out to Carrie, I love her. She's a great friend, and Landon Donovan as well. Those two have been working, tirelessly building this club for a long time. But on paper, like for us, our knowledge, we didn't have any players.
Yeah.
We didn't have a team.
Mhm.
So it felt like, for a long time, we're like, ay, Dios mío, ¿qué está pasando? There's no players. What is happening? And then all of a sudden it's like 3 at a time. Do you guys remember that? Right?
Yeah.
It feels like just yesterday. It's like, bam, 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 3 players. Next day, bam, 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 3 more players. And we're like, whoa, 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 what is going on? And so you see it on social media where like all of a sudden we have, 20 plus players in their squad. It feels like it happened like overnight, but it's been going on for a long time. So don't get me wrong when I say,
Yeah.
We didn't have any players. It just wasn't announced. And so it's one of those things that clubs do is they want to hold on to as much information as possible and not release it until it's like set in stone because they don't want to jinx themselves.
Yeah.
Because then something leaks. You guys know on the kits. Did anybody have any idea how those kits were going to look? Like, no.
No.
But if you see it in any league, todas las ligas, they all have. Everybody's always waiting, like, what is this year's jersey going to look like? And you find out because somebody leaks it. Loyal is doing, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who they're paying to hide their stuff. But, man, they've been doing such a great job. So I'm just excited, man. I'm excited to have a team that's like this, that really does care about what we want and what we ask for, and to have it like right down the street. That's the greatest thing.
Yeah.
All right, so take me through a game day. You have your drum, you have all the supporters. How do you keep that energy up even when the game is maybe not the most exciting game?
Say, in a home
Un
opener.
0-0.
In a home opener, the first couple minutes, say, I don't know, a
Score a
volley
goal on
from
you.
a crazy goal from halfway through the field to the top corner and just takes the wind out. Yeah, good question, Chua.
How do you keep that energy up? Because I know it's hard, especially with 400 plus people. Some people are going to be like, oh, man, we're losing already. So how do you keep that energy up with everyone?
I don't know, man. That's never happened to me before. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a really good question. I think that, well, first and foremost, we as supporters, and it's something that we've talked about from the beginning, is we're not there for our own enjoyment at the end of the day. We are willing to lose kind of some of our experience on game day in order to give somebody else an experience. That's kind of what a supporter group does, right? We wave flags, we lose our voices. And so it's kind of up to us to make sure that the atmosphere is always top notch. And so with that in mind, if you're in the stadium and we don't have a capo, we don't have anybody that's leading chants, we kind of just all are doing it organically, as organic can be, I guess, because somebody has to speak up and say something. So for us, it's really going into them in mentality of, we are not here for ourselves. And so something like that happens, one of us that has experience, that understands and has gone through like a 6-0 beating, like certain Chivas USA fans have gone through, and you continue to sing, you have to be able to look back, see the goal come in, look back and say, keep singing. We're not here for them. They're not going to affect us. We're here for our club. Let them know that we're here for them. And say that in a lot less words, and just with your face, look at everybody in the stands and say, keep it going. And once somebody sees that, it's like automatic, man. If you're in a game and you're a supporter and you have some supporter blood in you, you just know what to do. Automatically, just like the gear kicks in and you're chanting again, right on top of their other supporters. They're your nemesis's supporters trying to celebrate their goal. You're louder than them. And that's usually at the end of the day, that's it, man. That's what you want to do. That's what you uh strive to do. It's not easy though. I'll tell you that much. It is not easy, especially if you're really invested into your club, like most supporter groups are, and like most supporters are. It is not an easy thing to support your team when they are down. I think that's it. That's just a shift in mentality of you're not here. You're not here to enjoy yourself. You're here to make sure that everybody else is enjoying themselves. I know that sounds a little weird
Oh, I
and may
actually like
turn
that.
some people away, but honestly, it's like it's so rewarding. It is, and it's so much more fun when you're at a game doing that.
So during meetings or practices, anything like that, uh, do you guys talk about what you guys can and cannot yell? And I mean, how do you handle a situation where there's a group of people yelling stuff that they're not supposed to be yelling?
O sea, la clásica del
Del,
ya sabes
"Hey."
que.
We actually had that happen at the first game.
Yeah.
There was a group of guys that started that, and we heard and we all, actually the ones of us that are in leadership turned around right away and we're like, no,
Yeah.
cut that out right now. It's in our bylaws. It's written into our bylaws that nothing like that will ever be chanted.
Nice.
Again, we're inclusive. We're not exclusive, and so we want to make sure that everybody feels welcome. Everybody.
But
Something like that, it's just there's no need. We're trying to find ways to. We're coming up with something to kind of chant over that if it ever comes back, because it's bound to come back. Just as the
Raza.
classic like the classic raza response is, that's not what I mean. I'm not saying it in a bad way, but it's not about the way that you mean it. It's the way that other people take it. And so, and how it affects other people and how it makes people feel uncomfortable or unwelcome. So for us, that's way more important, is for everybody to feel welcome in our section. So yeah, how do we respond to it? We have people that are on top of it that know that as soon as they hear something like that, they know to cut it out. And we'll tell them, and actually one of the guys I think got kicked out and said, dude, you can't sit here if you're going to be doing that.
Yeah, we actually. Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
So yeah, no, it's just, we all kind of police ourselves. That's the goal. It's in our bylaws that you can't do that. And so if you sign up to be a member of the locals bylaws when you're in the stands, and to know what's expected of you, right? And yeah, I mean, we're not afraid, man. The club itself is backing us up on this one too. If we kick you out, and if you've had multiple times where you just won't listen and you keep chanting things you're not supposed to, your tickets will get revoked. Like, we'll make sure of it. We're not joking around. This isn't um, something that we take very lightly at all. So
Yeah, and again, that's something else that's reflected and paralleled across the board, not just with you guys, but we actually had a conversation at the Olympic Training Center right before the first match, and we spoke with the owner, Andrew, and
mm-hmm.
yeah, he even mentioned the fact that that chant specifically is something that he just doesn't want to see in his club, and he doesn't want to hear it, and there's going to be repercussions for it, and all power to it, man. Because again, that's
Yep.
what San Diego is. It's like really is it's another perfect kind of lining of the planets where are you not going to have the most inclusive team and atmosphere in such a diverse city like San Diego that has everything, if it's culture or ideologies or whatever. This isn't the place to necessarily dispute that. You can bring all of that, but we're here to celebrate the one same cause, and it's a celebration of soccer and SD Loyal, and that's something that's great, man, that you guys uphold that. It's in your bylaws.
I have to ask.
Dude,
Oh my
go for
bad.
it.
Uh,
No, go ahead.
I want to ask, how excited were you for that Cholos game? 'Cause I know, like
Oh
my brother
man.
told me, my brother's actually part of the Masacre for Cholos, and he told me that a lot of people
Oh
are planning on going to that game.
yeah.
So how excited were you to like have the locals kind of like
versus
versus the Masacre when it comes to chants and all that?
I'm not gonna lie, man. We had this conversation where like, man, we need to step it up, or ya valió. These guys are something else, and I have a lot of respect for La Masacre because they've been around for such a long time, even before Cholos was got into Primera, right, when they were in
yeah.
second
Yeah.
division. So these guys have been around for such a long time. They get it, and man, these guys have a reputation, right, that follows them around. So for us, man, we just wanted to make sure, one, that they knew that we look up to them, that we know that their culture is something to kind of learn from. It's not exactly what we want to build here. It's different, but we also have a lot of. But we were worried, man. We are kind of like, hey, how are we going to handle this? Because those guys are hardcore. So we need to step it up. So yeah, no, we definitely were looking forward to that game. I'm sad it didn't happen. I hope it still does happen. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what they bring because I know they're from what I had heard, their numbers were huge coming into this
Mhm.
game.
Yeah.
So
What didn't he talk about? Like, how did your brother say?
I think he said a couple hundred.
If she said
Because I mean, there's a few hundred just here in San Diego alone. And
yeah.
then plus the ones in TJ that would make cross the border for the game. Like
Hmm.
the insane amount of fans all around Mexico and all around the country too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. They have such support, even in the U.S. That it's for sure. I mean, like that's something to strive for as far as they're intense, man. Those guys are. And then I was just honestly, I just wanted to see them in the stands. Like I was really looking forward to that. So kind of to bring it back to my story real quick. My first game ever for MLS was a Chivas USA versus Cholos de Tijuana at Torero Stadium. They
yes.
played a friendly a long time ago, and that was kind of my first MLS experience. And so, yeah, kind of would have brought it full circle for me. So I'm looking forward to the game. I hope it still happens, but um, that was going to be a special one for me.
Definitely. And honestly, I could see it being like a thing, just like they kept having America Cholos here,
Hmm.
or they could just loyal Cholos, the Clásico de la Frontera. I mean, it sells itself. Like, what else do you need,
Yeah.
bro? But speaking of those
Yeah,
chants and
yeah.
support groups, so we're really trying to kind of, we're on top of SD Loyal. We got some players coming up. We actually have just say we have Jake Finlinson, the starting
Tomorrow.
goalkeeper, tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll release that in a couple days. But we're trying to stay in the loop because we're trying to, get into this whenever the season starts. Technically, we already have press
Mhm.
passes. We can maybe get in. Media is going to be limited, but it's not so much that we want to be in there to watch a game. We want to bring the supporters in there with us if you guys can't be there, whether that be just a table where in that front row and it's just us chanting and literally nobody else because nobody else is allowed. But what are you guys doing as far as I know you had Marissa from Fairweather help you guys out with chants and the karaoke stuff. How's that coming along for coming up with chants and the chants that you guys already have?
Yeah, so we're concentrated on the ones that we already have right now. I mean, we obviously welcome anybody's input, but right now what we want to do is the ones that we have already chanted like on game one, and that we've been working on. We want to make sure that we make those into something that's easy to learn and make it accessible for people to just kind of log in and, like you said, karaoke style, just go in and read it, hear it, and practice it. And it sounds kind of crazy, but you can be in the shower just kind of chanting local songs, and you can be having your dinner and just be like, "Oh, San Diego, we are," or something, whatever it may be.
That's what
But we want to make sure that we bring that and make it accessible for people to learn. I think that was something from the beginning. They were like, "Where's the chance? Where's the chance?" And we're just like, "No, man, let it happen organically." You know, the the European fans want us to be organic, so we're gonna let this grow, bro. And so it didn't. I mean, it went well, but it didn't quite work out. I think the way that we envisioned it worked out completely different, which is great because now the way that we're approaching it is somebody brings a chant and it picks up and people love it. Okay, stick with that and let's learn that. And you can't. Eventually, we'll get to having just a ton of different chants where we can skip back and forth, but we're always open to hearing new chants. Those are coming down. Yeah, Marissa, shout out to Marissa. She gave me kind of an idea of how to do it. And then we have another person also that reached out that knows how to do those. So we're figuring out what's going to be the best way, the cleanest way, and the most professional way to be able to put this out. It's probably going to be on all over our social media once we actually have it. But the goal is to have it kind of like a story on, on IG, where you can go in, just click on it, listen to it, 15-second chant, and learn them so that you're ready on game day. So that's the best way to learn those. Obviously, is coming to events, which stay tuned for those. That's part of all this mess. But they're in the works, man. Yeah, for sure. I think you heard some of the chants, man. Some people were throwing some stuff out there. We're like, that is good, and it just picked up. So the fact that we are picked up so fast is just mind-blowing to me. We could look over to our end and just hear it, just those two really loud, and see it from your guys' point of view. Probably looked way cooler than from mine, but it's, oh man, that's just game one. Imagine what this could be.
Can you imagine a playoff run? It made you stop, didn't it? Imagine.
No, man, because I have, and I will.
But I mean, it's gonna be, whenever it does come back full strength. We're gonna have the games themselves. That's one thing, but I can't wait because it's something that was built by the fans for the fans, and for fans not to be in there. So it's a great injustice. But at least we'll have a team to root for whenever they do return. Tentative date for the USL July 11th. But one last question, Jerry. We're going to bring it back to that one game. Somehow we waited by not talking so much about the one game, but we did have that one home game. You were singing your heart out. We give this guy a shout out every time we talk about it. Johannes, the security guard that saved your phone when it fell through.
Yeah.
Shout out Johannes.
We went in there, man.
We need to get this kid some hours. Like I promised them he had him. The security guard that was his boss.
Yes.
Was like, definitely. You know what? Yeah, we shouted him out. Like, I don't feel safe without Johannes next to me. He saved the phone. He's on it, man. Like, okay, you got hours next time, kid. That next game never happened.
Oh, man, poor kid probably got laid off.
Jeez. But what was just
shout out to that guy.
But what was that one nugget? That one thing that you're just, if you can just, a 15-second clip in your mind, or just moment, or just something you took in from that day, your favorite part of that day?
Like, as soon as you asked me that question, this one thing popped into my head, and it's the only thing that I really care about, and the only reason why I spend countless hours building this group and helping build what this community is going to be like. And that is the point where my son came into the front with me. So if you guys know, I was all the way in the front row with the drums. So I'm one of the drummers as well. I was kind of trying to start the chants. And my whole family was there, but my wife said, "Hey, Diego wants to hang out with you." And I was like, "All right, bring him over here." And he just walked through. They gave him like a little path. They helped him through, and he was there with me for a good while. And he was a little scared at first because, obviously all the drums and everything, he has his ear protection and everything. But having him in my arms, looking back at the hundreds of people that are now my family, right? Having him in my arms and looking back and seeing a team playing, and then looking back again, it felt surreal for a second. I'm like, dude, this is this is yours. You know, like this is every dad's every dad's kind of mind who is a part of a support group can feel this with me. It's kind of unexplainable, man. Like you're building something that your children and their children's children will hopefully be a part of, and there's nothing like it. So having my son there, that's like by far the first game. That's like my biggest takeaway was having him there. I know that's freaking corny, but it's the honest truth. Like when I was looking back, looking at the fact that we have a team playing and all these people that are now my family all of a sudden, and having him be a part of it, I was just like, man, those few months that where we've been like struggling to build this and trying to figure out what the best way of doing this and that and going over every single detail of this, completely worth it. So you can kind of see now why this is so difficult, right? And the fact that we only got that one game. But I'm very much, now that I get to say it out loud, I get to kind of think about it. And so I'm very much looking forward to coming back, reliving that, doing that again, and then having my son be a bigger part of it because he plays drums, by the way. So he's a 4-year-old that loves this. He'll wave his flag. He'll play the drums. Shout out to Afmir who has his boys as well. And all the dads, honestly, because Father's Day is coming up. So, it's something that we all share. And moms as well. I mean, if you're a part of the supporter group, you have kids, that's like the coolest thing is being able to build it. So I know maybe that's not the answer that you guys were expecting, but that's the honest answer.
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer, man. And again, it makes me happy that the sport that I love is now here in San Diego for us and for families and can give families these types of memories and these types of moments that otherwise it wouldn't be the same. Maybe you're not so much of a football fan and Chargers and tailgating, it doesn't resonate as much, but just that the way you described it is great. And yeah, I mean, your boy, you never know, you can replace good old Blister Fingers Allen from the Fairweather podcast for drumming. But shout out Allen.
Hey, he's a very good drummer. By the way, like all the drums are right there. I need to get them the heck out of here because the wife's like, saca las baterías esas de ahí. So no, but shout out to Alan, man, and the other guys that are helping us drum. Yeah, dude, it was loud. That's the one thing that I like about that stadium. It was loud, and there's only like 3-4 of us. So
yeah, it was loud, man, and even you said like it must have been look cool from our side. I jumped in there and had a couple of we are's in there, and let me tell you, it was amazing from that point of view too. And we even talked to the players, and they said on that first game, like they went into that locker room and say like we can't lose this game, you just can't. And Jack was one of the people that after that game were like, you know what, it's 1-1, and he did one of these. Hey, we'll get it for you guys next time. And I think I love the fact that we're all on the same page and looking forward to this, man. And hopefully we can keep the ball rolling for San Diego Loyal.
Yeah, man. Just wanted to add one quick thing to that note. You said right now that they went into the locker room and they knew they couldn't lose this game, whether it's a tie or a win, preferably. But that's our job as a supporters group, as supporters. We need to make them feel the pressure and understand that they're doing it for the city. They're there to play a game, and it's not just for a paycheck. They're representing a city. And once they feel that, makes the whole world of a difference. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. That's awesome. That's right. I'm excited. We're back.
Same here, man. Let's get this rolling, man. Thank you, Jerry. You want to tell everybody where they can find you on social media and the locals, podcasts, anything you need to plug, go for it, bro.
Sure, yeah. If you want to follow my personal page and look at all cool plumbing. Yeah, the plumbing stuff, if you want to go and check that out, you can follow me on my personal stuff. Chido Jerry, Chido, Chido as in cool Jerry, because
that's been chido, vato.
The locals SG on all social media as well. Yeah, man, reach out to me if you have any questions. If you ever even you're listening to this and you're like, I kind of want to check out that supporter group, reach out. Let me know, and I'll make sure that you have all the information you need to get involved. This is going to be much, much bigger than I think we all can really even imagine. And you want to jump on now so that you can say you were there from the beginning. So yeah, thank you guys for having me, man. It's been an honor, a pleasure. Hopefully it's not the last time, and I can't wait to see you guys in person, man. Have some fun with you guys.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what we're looking for. As soon as they let us, as soon as you guys are good with it, we're down for that. And maybe a loyal away game when they let us, and we'll take our little podcast setup, mobile, how you have the same one, and we'll set up and have a great time, man. Really appreciate it, Jerry.
Cheers.
Thank you, man.
Cheers, man.
Catch you later.